Hey guys, what up? What up's everyone? It's me. How do you know that? I'm right in front of you, you stupids. You guys like your Spider-Mans, your superheroes, your Batmans? You like all those characters? You have like your favorites? You have your little comic books? You stupid nerd? You stupid nerd? Give me your lunch money, you stupid nerd. You got your Marvel and your DC. You got superheroes. You got people who got powers. You got supers. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of different kinds. There's the popular ones that everyone knows. And then there's the bottom tier ones that no one really knows much about. But what I'm going to be doing is talking about some of the dumbest superheroes I've ever done seen. And I'm going to attempt to try and give you guys scenarios of what they would even be useful for. There's a lot of dumb, really dumb superheroes. Now, obviously you got Superman, which, let's be honest, Superman, it's the dumbest concept for a superhero ever. Hey, let's just make a man can do everything. I'm not trying to shit on people who are fans of Superman and all his comic books, all of his movies, but it's such a lazy concept for a character. But I would say my favorite superhero is probably Spider-Man. I just always liked him since I was a kid. I haven't really got much into like comic books and different kinds of heroes, so I don't really have much to go off of for my sense of what I like. But let me tell you something, you probably haven't heard of some of these heroes I'm about to talk about.
In a world completely filled with chaos, one man stands above the rest. This man's name is
Arm Fall Off Boy. Now, if you're not sure of who is Arm Fall Off Boy, basically he's a boy who has the ability to detach his arms. That's basically it. I mean, I think he just uses his arms as weapons. I think that's kind of the whole concept behind him. Now, a situation I can imagine him in is, say, a serial killer who chops his victims' arms off before he kills them. So he'd probably just go undercover as one of the victims. You know, he'd be facing his arch nemesis, Leg Man, which is basically just a handicapped serial killer. I'm not that creative.
It seems I've got all my victims ready. Let's get your arms cut off. Yeah, there's one. There's the other. Oh no! Why aren't you screaming in pain?
It is I, Arm Fall Off Boy, here to save the day. And then the victims. What the fuck, dude? He already cut off her fucking arms. Why didn't you do something earlier? Because the only thing I can do is detach my arms. But what's the point of you even being here? Leg Man, this is your final days.
So I cut off both of your arms, right?
Yes?
So how are you gonna use your arms as a weapon if I already cut them off?
Fuck! So I guess even in that scenario, Arm Fall Off Boy would die along with his victims, so. Because if he ends up taking off both of his arms, how are you gonna use them as weapons? He doesn't have like telepathy to his arms that could make him fly around and hit things. I tried to come up with something that'd make him look good. Sorry, Arm Fall Off Boy. Leg Man, I mean, he's just a handicapped man. He just can't use his legs, and he has a gun. That's who Leg Man is. And he beat him. He beat Arm Fall Off Boy. Next, we have Matter Eater Lad. So basically, he grew up on a planet where everything's inedible, so he had to learn how to eat inedible things. So he developed, I wouldn't even say a superpower, but just he's able to eat things that aren't normally edible. But I'll tell you one thing, that can make a badass YouTube career. This guy would be YouTube famous if he started a YouTube channel. I mean, there are people on the platform who do that stuff, who eat random inedible shit. But he's Matter Eater Lad. He can eat my piano. He can make a video of him eating my piano and he'd become famous. Now, the only situation I could think of him being good in is if someone used a weapon to hurt or kill someone, he could just eat it and the evidence would disappear. I mean, he could be such a bad person. He could eat people out of jail. He could eat stolen vehicles that didn't want to be found. He could eat, you know, just random stuff that haven't been stolen or people just don't want you to find. Like, that's the only thing I could think of Matter Eater Lad to do. There's not much else I feel like he'd be good for. His arch nemesis would just be died from starvation, man. That's all. It's just a dead man who died of starvation. That's his arch nemesis. The next one we have is Mogo, which is a part of the Green Lantern, but he's a planet. Now, I don't really know much of the backstory behind him. I just want to kind of create my own situation with them. What would he be good for? What would a planetary-sized Green Lantern be good for? Now, I know everyone's thinking Death Star, but I mean, to be honest, that would make a lot of sense. Now, what he could do, it would fuck up our galaxy's orbit, probably, but if he was next to our planet, he could just protect our planet from, you know, earth-shattering comets, or maybe even stop the sun from exploding, or I don't know. He might be able to do something like that. His arch nemesis would probably just be humans, because if humans, you know, went on him, you know, pollution, destroying the wildlife, destroying his trees, you know, just destroying his landscape in general, and slowly killing him from the inside. Ice Cream, which is one of my favorite superheroes of all time, is a man who can turn into ice cream. Any kind of ice cream, a matter of fact. Any kind. But that's it. I don't necessarily know if he could transform back, but he definitely can transform into ice cream. Would that be painful? Would that be painful to die that way? If you turn into ice cream and then you got a boy who ordered some and then he licks you to death? Would it be as painful as just being eaten alive? Now, he would work against a villain who loves ice cream, because he could transform into ice cream and lure him in. While he's licking him, he could appear in regular human form if he could turn back. I'm not sure if he can. And from there, what he would have to do, because he has no other superpower, he might not be carrying any weapons, so what he would have to do is accuse him of being gay for licking him because he's a man. And then they would have like a back and forth fight about him not being gay, and it'll stall long enough for an actual superhero to come save the day. I mean, that might work. That's not a bad one. And his arch nemesis is just children. Anyone who likes ice cream. Danny the Street. Literally a street, a road is Danny the Street. A sentient road. What would be a good situation for Danny the Street? Any high-speed car chase? Now, all the cops would have to do is try and, you know, lure the guy toward Danny the Street, and then Danny the Street could, I don't know, make a pothole or something. I don't know. He could do something. He could pop his tires, he could put little things out. I don't necessarily know what he could do, but he could probably do something like that. And his weakness would be construction workers. If they start constructing on the road and putting tar over him, because I bet if you put tar over the road itself, it wouldn't add on to him, but it'd probably just suffocate him, and it'd probably hurt because it's really hot. And then the Dog Welder, the most terrifying superhero of all time, borderline horror film antagonist. I don't know how you would consider this guy a hero in any way, form whatsoever. His power is he welds dead dogs onto his enemies. How is this a superpower, you ask? I don't really know how is this a superpower? How, in any sense, whoever created this guy, how is that a superpower? I mean, just look at the picture. It is a freaking dead dog, and he's welding it to someone's face. Like, that's serial killer shit. That's a mental disability, crazy dude, killing people shit. How is he a superhero?
Do not fear, the dog welder's here.
Like, how terrifying as a civilian would it be to have the dog welder come to save your life? Oh no, I'm being held by gunpoint. I hope someone comes to save me.
Do not fear, the dog welder's here.
Oh dear God, no. Oh dear God, please.
You have to watch me, or else I cannot do my job.
Please, I can't do it.
Well, I'm sorry.
I can't save your life unless you watch me.
Weld a dog to this man's face.
Oh please, dear God.
Yes!
I don't know why every superhero has that kind of accent and voice, but that's just what I imagine every superhero to have.
It is I, the dog welder.
I mean, to be fair, if I was a supervillain, I'd be fucking terrified of him as well. I assume the cat welder would be his arch nemesis, because it'd just be a fight of who could weld the animal on each other's face first, I assume, because that defines who wins. But I don't know of a situation where he would work well, of like where his specific power would come into place. I guess if there's a guy who has either a giant fear of dogs or a giant love for dogs, it'd be good against. Because one, the fear of dogs, you know, it'd be scary of him having a dead dog about to weld it on your face. The love of dogs, it'd be mortifying to have a dead dog welded to your face. Who created this character? Let me know in the comments below if you could think of any situations where these heroes would work better. Because I'd like to know your guys' opinion. I feel like that'd be cool. I want to know what you guys can think of when it comes to this shit. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. Can't let it go.